I've done some content for Snapbridge, but I realized that I never made a full tutorial on the setup from A to Z. So today we are going to correct that. So to explain what we are going to do, first we are going to show you a firmware update. In order for your camera to be at its peak and its best, it is very important to update your firmware or make sure that your camera's firmware is up to date. For an example, in the Z6 II, when I did the firmware update a couple of months ago, it allowed 4K 60 from 4K 30. So big improvements can be had with firmware updates. Once we're done with the firmware updates, I'm going to explain the 3 different modes of connection, how you can connect your phone to your camera. There are 3 ways. I'm going to show you how to do each of those, and then I'm also going to show you the application in full. So we kind of have to work in reverse order because in order to update the firmware, you need to connect the camera. So just see the timestamp in which we do the Bluetooth connection, and then from there, we will go to see if there's actually firmware available, and then you'll see a go button on the top right and you will just push go. Now this will make sure that the transfer is actually happening through your phone to make sure that the full firmware update occurs on your camera. Now your camera does need to be on, does need to be at least 80%, and a memory card does need to be inserted. We will say, well, let's check a memory card's in, which it's not, so we're going to go get a memory card. Actually, why is there no memory card? There should be a memory card. Oh, there it is. There we go. Make sure that there's a memory card in. Close that. Say next on your phone, accept and download. Download. Now we know they're connected because the Bluetooth light is flashing and we can see the transfer happening on the phone. Now it needs you to enable the camera Wi-Fi. We will say okay. Now the phone will automatically prompt us and we will see the Wi-Fi logo flashing. And now we will say on the phone, connect. Now the phone is transferring the file to the camera and the firmware has been received. We need to say yes in order to accept and download. Now it goes red, but you still want to do it. The camera is over 80%, so we will say okay. Now this does generally take a long time, so do be patient for this firmware update. Okay, now that is updated, turn the camera off. Give it about 5 seconds or so, and then turn the camera back on. And that is it, your camera is updated. Okay, now we're going to go into how to connect the 3 different connection modes. To show the 3 different connections, hit the menu on your camera, go down to network menu and say connect smart device. Now you will see that there are 3 different connections: pairing via Bluetooth, pairing via Wi-Fi, AP mode. Now all this means is a direct connection between your phone and the camera. That does tend to be a little bit tricky sometimes, as it can be erroneous. I'll explain why when we get to there. And then STA mode, which is my preferred mode. How STA mode works is you connect your camera to your mobile Wi-Fi network, you connect your phone to your mobile Wi-Fi network, and then the 2 actually collaborate through the network, so it's a lot more stable. Now, let's start off by going through pairing on Bluetooth. Start on your camera and go to pairing on Bluetooth. Select OK and then say start pairing. Now this will pop up on your screen. On the app, you can literally say we've got nothing there, so we are going to say connect to camera. Now automatically the camera's popped up. We didn't have to select Z6 III or find it because it's picked it up on Bluetooth. So we are going to say Z6 III and we're going to connect. Now ensure that the numbers correlate with each other as we did with the firmware update and say pair. Make sure you push OK on the camera and it will establish and pair the camera to the phone. Now the camera is connected. Do note that Bluetooth does have limited connectivity as to what it can do, so I am going to show you what that can do. At the bottom we will see remote photography. Now we won't be able to use that because we haven't set up Wi-Fi yet. So we're going to hit that swap button and say Bluetooth remote control. Now ensure that your camera is set to what you're trying to do, either being it picture or into videography. Now you do have to make sure that your camera is set the way that you want to. Bluetooth does take the ability to have any of the settings because all you're doing is using it as a remote control. It will work differently in Wi-Fi. But what we want to do firstly is take a picture. you will see that the record button automatically cancels out on the mobile phone. You will push the white button and it will start taking pictures. Then if we switch it to the videography mode, we can hit that button and it will start recording. We do have other functionality such as the timer, so we can select that at the top right. We have interval timer shooting, we have a time-lapse video recording, and we have focus shift shooting. You can play around with those as you want, but there is the functionality. Also, by pushing information on the top right, you can see the battery on the camera, which is pretty cool. Now we need to go for the more complex setup, and let's start off with connecting it through AP mode. So we will go to menu again, we will go to connect smart device, and we will say AP mode. Establish Wi-Fi connection, push OK or yes, and it will bring up the SSID as well as password. Now, the reason that this can sometimes get tricky is because your mobile phone or general mobile phones always want internet connectivity, and this is not providing an internet connection. So in order to avoid that, you go into your Wi-Fi connections, you take the connection that you are on, go into the settings, whichever your phone, and make sure connect automatically is not on. Then push OK. Now go and see Nikon Z6 III, connect there. Now it says connected to the device, cannot provide internet as we know. Now we go back into the application, we will go to the cog at the top right, and we will select AP mode connection. Then it says connect to camera using Wi-Fi, yes. We will go through this because we've done these steps. We are connected, so we can go back, and it's establishing a Wi-Fi connection. We can see there Wi-Fi connection established, connected to camera via Wi-Fi. We can also see it on the camera, connected to smart device established. Now when we go to remote photography, it's going to be the same for STM mode, but we can see now we can actually see what's going on with the camera. I'll explain in a little bit in STM mode because they're very similar how you can use all this functionality. But let's go through STM mode. Then for STA mode, we go into the menu and we go to STA. We will create a profile. We can just call this wireless LAN 1. It doesn't matter what you call it. We push OK. We will say OK there. Then we say OK. Now we need to search for a Wi-Fi network. This will be the network that you output in your house. We are going to look for that, which is my home network. We're going to push OK. It only connects on 2.4, not 5. Now enter the Wi-Fi password. Once that's connected, say obtain automatically. It is easier unless you know how networks work, and you can actually set a static IP, but again, for ease of use, automatic. Now we have an IP address for this camera. We say next, and now we want to pair them. Make sure that you're on the correct network. Go back to your main network. Go back into the app, SDA mode, next, connect Wi-Fi, and you will see the connectable devices there. There is the Z6 III. We can again, if you have multiple cameras, just make sure those numbers align. Select that on the camera, push OK, and we are connected. Now we just go back and we can see there we are connected. Now we're going to run through what you can do in this application. So first of all, we got the sandwich menu on the top left. If you push that, that's just the app options and basic help that you may need, as well as Nikon Imaging Cloud, but we're actually going to get there in the app. We can also go to the settings. Now remember that when you select settings, it's settings for that mode. So when you are doing settings, you're setting mode for Bluetooth, for AP or STA. Now you can say that the auto download, this is for uploading to cloud. The clocks and location data, this is if you want to know where you are shooting. We can download pictures. So now we can see all the pictures that are currently available to download. We are not going to do that right now. And then we have the most important thing, remote photography. Now in remote photography, we have got this set on M. Note that you can only have it in PSAM modes. We need to make sure that our shutter rate, our aperture, our ISO, and our white balance are done correctly before taking pictures or recording from this. Now, the nice thing about the Wi-Fi connection is you don't need to actually go to the camera physically to change between recording and taking a picture. You can push it literally over there at the top of the app. So we can take a picture here. We can also choose on the screen where we want to focus. So if we select something towards the left there, we will see that the writing for that wireless Go 2 there starts to go out of focus. But if we tap on the screen on that, it's going to put that in focus and also change the lighting. And this is because ISO is automatically set for this tutorial. Same thing for videography mode. Not going to do it now, but if I had to push that button over there, it's basically just going to start recording. So you can automatically record not having to be by the camera. Then we have the little cog wheel, and that is a self timer, but that self timer is basically to give you a countdown of 3, 5, or 10 seconds, either for videography or photography. Then the next thing to look at is those pictures over there, which you can select to download or share directly from this app. And lastly, we have Nikon Image Space. Now this is how in my tutorial I managed to get all the pictures to automatically upload in a lower file format. As you saw from here, if we go into the settings, we could change the size. Now let's connect. Now I just sign in with Google automatically. We can just say next. And we are logged in, and we will auto upload our images only when we're logged in to Wi-Fi. We can also see there that the pictures are busy uploading. Now note there, right next to the camera, in order to shut it down by not being at the camera physically, we can push that Wi-Fi button, same for Bluetooth, and just end the connection. And that is it. Back to the studio. And that's it. You've just opened up a world of opportunity with your phone and your Nikon camera. Hope you enjoyed this one. Cheers. Goodbye.